Hey everybody, thanks for stopping in and listening to Java Chat. This is the man with the plan, the broadcast, the live cast. If you are listening to us on anchor.fm, thanks so much. If you're watching this on YouTube, awesome. Thanks, appreciate you. Grab your cup of Java because it's time to sit down and have a little fun. All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for hanging in with us. I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing somebody who I've actually met through a friend and have quickly gained respect for their creative process and how they do what they do. And this is Elena. Good morning, Elena. Thanks for joining me here on Java Chat.
Good morning. Pleasure to meet you, Mike.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you as well. So we belong to an agency that is on a live app. If you guys want to know what that live app is, feel free to message me. I'll tell you later. And we have a common friend, a young woman by the name of Diana, who introduced us through that live app. And one of the things that we're encouraged to do is go and watch each other's lives to see what each other does. And the first time I popped in on Elena's live, I wasn't sure what I was going to see. Elena is a makeup artist. Now, I want to make something really clear. I've watched makeup tutorials before, and I've seen probably a good handful. And some of them get real technical. Some of them get pretty creative. I sat there and watched this young lady just go for it. And I mean, I think I'm going to do this, wham, and just like created it. And I was sitting there going, holy crap. As if it was like, normal process, no big deal. Like putting on pants in the morning for those that use pants. And it was interesting to me to watch. And this is her living. This is what she does. Oh, 1 second. Hey, Google, play Bebop Combo Radio. Oh, and of course it's going to go do that to me. 1 second. Hey, Google, play Bebop Combo Radio on Pandora. Ah, there we go. Much better. Yeah, I have a Google Hub and I have to specifically tell it what to play so that there's some music in the background.
Great.
Yeah, well, he listens sometimes.
Like children.
Yeah, exactly. Like a child. Very much so. Only I think my child listens less than he does. Anyway, it's kind of how that goes. So anyway, it's been a pleasure to watch her creative process, even when things quote unquote don't go right, to watch her resolve how she deals with everything. Very well centered. I've never gotten to tell you this, Elena, but very well centered with regards to your thinking. Very calm, very just process. You have the process in your head, and you came up with a solution immediately that you liked, and it came out excellent. Because we feel, when you're watching somebody live, we feel people and how they are, what they do, and to watch you get frustrated for that moment in time, I felt for you, and then to see you just kind of like click, yep, this is what I'm going to do, and do it, and then be like, well, damn, that was like the simple solution, and it worked.
Yeah, it's part of the process.
Okay, so
just to go with it.
Yeah, so Elena, do me a favor. Share with our listeners who you are, where you're from, because I think this is going to be interesting. We're going to talk about that a bit, and how you got into doing this. Because I mean, guys, if you're not following her, she's on Instagram. If you see some of the work that she does, it's insane. It's wonderful in a good way. Insane. So please, Elena, if you would.
Thank you for the introduction, Michael. So my name is Elena. I'm from Serbia. That's in Europe, like near Hungary and Croatia. If some of you guys know, I'm 25 and I started doing makeup like 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, I think. Actually, I always wanted to do makeup, but at the time I was thinking like, that's not a job. I can't live from that. It's a hobby. So I didn't do like anybody's makeup. I just did mine.
Mm.
And the main inspiration, now everybody will laugh, but it was the Kardashians.
Right.
Yeah, because I saw Kim and I was like, damn, her makeup is good. Like, I have to try that. So I went and I like bought like tanning stuff and
Mm-hmm.
uh, smoky like palettes and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So I was just experimenting. And after that, I went to college and I had like really bad period. And I was like, I'll do something for myself. So I paid myself like a makeup course. And when I started posting pictures, like my girls started to pop up on my screen. I'm like, oh, can you do my makeup? Can you do my makeup? It's so good. So that's how I started doing this.
Interesting how that happens. Yeah. All of a sudden, everybody's like, "Oh, I didn't know you did that. Can you do mine?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I was like, oh my god, who will come to me to do their makeup? Like, I know how to do my makeup, but when I saw like the reactions to how I do that
Mm-hmm.
was actually really good. So I started like from that. Actually started doing makeup in a bathroom. Like, can you imagine that?
It
If
is what it
someone
is.
came
Oh
and I
yeah.
was like, okay, come to my bathroom. Like, it was really bad, but that's all I had. Like, few foundations and one palette.
But that's
But
okay. So, and this is something that I'm sure Diana's probably told you too. Um, as entrepreneurs, and you know this, I'm just saying this for the listeners that we have. As entrepreneurs, we have a tendency to start with literally nothing. When it's just the beginnings, and we're always wondering who's going to actually want what we have, who's actually going to hire me to do what I'm doing. I think the bigger picture for how this has turned out is you actually like doing this, right?
yeah,
I
I
mean, it's
enjoy it.
yeah, yeah. You enjoy doing this. This isn't work for you.
No, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you,
It's
you're
passion.
you're yeah. It's passion. You get to work, and everybody that knows that anybody in entrepreneurship knows you live your passion. It's you never have a day of work. That's the whole point. You get to do that. So your life right now, well, your life right now is actually quite restricted. But and we'll get into that in a sec. But your life in general is you get to live your passion and
Yeah,
make
yeah,
people look beautiful. I mean,
yeah.
the palettes of colors. How do you come up with that? Because like I've watched you do I watched you do a couple of them, like 3 or 4 lives, and the colors are never the same.
Yeah.
The palettes. I've seen you use a couple of palettes a couple
Yeah,
times.
I have like few different ones that I love.
Right, but how do you? I mean, what's the process? I mean, I know you just look at yourself and you go, "This is what I'm going to do today." But I mean, what goes on in your mind that lets you say, "Okay, it's going to be this kind of. We're going to use some yellows and some reds, and we're going to do this today, or we're going to do some blues and smoky eyes and stuff." How do you? I mean, what
Well,
goes through your mind?
actually, like I don't plan on doing like makeup looks. It depends on how I feel actually. And maybe if I saw something earlier, like I don't know, like green flowers, red flowers, or something, or I saw like nice color somewhere else, and I'm like, okay, if I have that color, maybe I can use it on my eyes, and just go with it. Or if I do like few colors on my eyes, and I like miss, like I need something to do like a twist to make it more special, and then I look around, and if I see, like I just see some color just pops up, like I just feel it. Like, I don't know how to explain that.
It's called mood makeup. That's gonna be
Yeah,
your line. That's gonna be your new palette line, mood makeup
yeah,
by Elena
yeah.
Cuk. That's exactly what we're gonna do. I'm calling Diana. We're making that palette. That's gonna happen. That just needs to go.
I mean,
That's a total win. I can completely see that because I don't know anybody that has mood makeup at all. And I'm just trying to think of the names that are running through my head. All the big brands, nobody's got it. Um, yeah, that'd be cool. Well, that's a hell of a process. I mean, because that's the idea of how a lot of marketing agencies, when they need creativity, they go outside. Usually, unless they're stuck in a city, it's kind of hard. But for the most part, they'll go outside, take a walk, look around, see nature, be really present and observant, and see what comes to mind. When the mind knows what it's looking for, it'll find it. Um,
exactly.
It just takes time. Well, that's a cool process. And you said you've been doing this for 2 years?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years now. And before all of the craziness started happening, how many appointments were you doing a day?
Well, actually, I had a lot. Like every workday, I had like makeup school, and that was, well, maybe about 6 hours a day
Okay.
or more.
Mm-hmm.
Depends of the look.
Mm-hmm.
And on weekends, I had like from 10 to 15 appointments if the season is on, like spring, summer, fall. Like on the winter, we have like class work, but usually about like, let's say 10
Mm-hmm.
clients a day.
So out of that 10 clients, who do you find yourself serving the most? Do you find yourself doing, is it a pretty broad spectrum, or is it a pretty tight group of people?
Well, as I was saying to to the girls that are coming to my classes, like you have like a target group,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you do like makeup and do your Instagram and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people who are coming to me
Mm-hmm.
are the girls who like colors and appreciate colors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually like girls from, let's say, 15 to 30 years.
Oh, there you go.
Like
Okay.
that's my group, and I have like clients that come to me like really often, but it depends of the occasion.
Sure, sure. And I'm sure there's a ton of occasions that you can play with colors. I mean, we've got how many holidays a year, and
Yeah.
different other cultural holidays probably up in Serbia. So,
Yeah.
which brings me to one of the reasons that we're doing this particular podcast. For those that are listening, I reached out to a bunch of friends, Elena being a new friend, and I was really stoked. She was like the first one to say, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be fun. Um, she lives in a country that is under lockdown. I mean, literal lockdown. US, there are shelter in place orders, but there's no police running around. There's no armies with guns going, get in your house, stay there. But that's not the case in Serbia, is it?
Yeah, we have like the police on the streets, in the car on the streets, just checking if everybody's home. Our restaurants don't work. We have like only shops and pharmacies, and we can go out. So every single wedding, birthday, everything is canceled and routine. We don't know until when.
You know, it really sucks. You can't cancel birthdays,
Yeah.
and you can't postpone them either. That really sucks.
Yeah.
Because if that were the case, I'd still be 23. I'm
That's
postponing
one
off another year. Yeah, you can postpone anything else, but once you get into that age thing, well, you're kind of screwed now, buddy. That's it. It is what it is. I actually have I have a bunch of friends that are all celebrating birthdays during this whole thing, and I send them the happy birthday, but I usually put a PS. You can't put this off until after this is over. And they write me back, and you're an asshole. just
A true friendship.
just spitting truth. I'm just giving you some truth. That's all there is to it. Can't help you. So
Yeah.
So you guys are on lockdown. Is that all day, all night, or what's going on over there? Give me an idea of what's happening.
Okay, so the lockdown is until 5 o'clock in the afternoon until 5 o'clock in the morning, and now the new measure is on weekends from 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's affecting everybody. It's really bad because I know a lot of people here live in houses and they have backyards, but for me it's hard because I live in an apartment and I don't have like a balcony or terrace. So I feel like really trapped, and I don't like, I can go out during the day, but I just don't want to because I don't want to be that person who is like breaking the quarantine, the isolation and stuff. Just I don't want to like risk my health or someone else's health just to go out. I just go out, walk my dog, and that's it.
It's interesting that you're saying that, and you're very young, 25 years old, and you're living your passion. Yes. But you're actually doing exactly what I wanted to discuss, which is leadership. And I think a lot of people misunderstand the term of leadership. because they leave it usually to those who are in government branches. You know, whoever the president is, whoever the premier, prime minister, or elected officials, and they think that they're the ones that have to be the ultimate leaders. When I think a lot of people miss the fact that leadership is a two-edged sword.
Exactly.
There's internal leadership, leading yourself to thinking better, doing better, being better, etc. Right? And then there's the external leadership, excuse me, which most people miss because they think it belongs to somebody else.
Yeah.
You're showing your own personal leadership and leading others by being an example. And I get it. Some of it's probably unconscious, but at the same time, it's like, you just said it. I don't want to get anybody else sick by chance. And I certainly don't want to put my health at risk. I think if more people concentrated on being that kind of leader, because this is one of those fights where politics, borders, flags, ideologies, nothing matters in this fight.
Yeah.
We're fighting a common enemy that we can't even see.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd love your thoughts on that when I finish this one. But we're literally as a race are in a kind of a fight for survival right now. We're getting a practice run on something that we've never faced before. And it's like returning back to the Black Plague, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But for you, if you were to give a bit of advice to your age group, because you're on the back end, you're just off the back end of the millennials. You're kind of in between millennials and Z gens, like right there. What would you say to them? I mean, what would you, other than the direct, don't be a dumbass, what would you say to them to encourage them to understand they have a lot more responsibility than they think?
Yeah, exactly. Because like, that's not happening to someone else, it's happening to us. So we all have to be responsible. And if you're young and you think you won't get it, if you go out, if you party, if you do stuff, okay, you may not get it, but someone else will. So you are directly affecting someone else's life, and it's not good. Like, you can affect someone else's life, but in a good way, to do good. And that's why I decided to stay at the house. This is not like people, they're not thinking straight. This is not like a break. This is not vacation. This is not like a rest from work. Like, this is the thing that's happening, and we all have to. I know it's hard because the weather is good, and
Yeah, that doesn't
it's
make it
sunny,
any
and
easier.
yeah, and we all want to go out, but as long as we are not being responsible adults, even if you're younger, like, you now have to act like adult. You're just postponing the things, and like, it will get worse if we don't act like we should. Like, now it's not the time to think about parties, to think just about yourself. It's not time to be selfish. Just look at the bigger picture.
You know, it's interesting that you put it in that light, because most times when people talk about, you know, hey, let's be responsible here, because it can get worse, and it will get worse if we don't start. But the way you just said it, most people that'll sit there and are the ones that think that way will be like, oh, that's just being an alarmist. No, listen to the way it was said, you guys. It may not happen to you, but you can directly affect someone else's life. How would you feel if right now we can't tell who's catching it, who's carrying it, because there's still not enough testing? But get this, if you knew you were the last person that came in contact with a senior citizen, or somebody that was, you know, in my age group, or as of late, somebody that was a teenager here passed away from the coronavirus. So age is no longer a factor.
Exactly.
You can't, it's whether or not you're healthy enough to deal with it. And if you're not, what if you were the last person to be in contact with them, and you just happen to accidentally, you know, I'm a hugger, and trust me, it's hard for me to not go up to people and hug them, and that's like, good to see you. Yeah, you know, whatever. But it's hard. But the way you just said that, it's it's also very true, guys. This is not an alarmist statement. It is a plea to
Yeah.
be good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not selfish to practice physical distancing. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to bring up on this one. This whole social distancing thing, I think you might have seen a little bit of it. I did it on the stream yesterday. I'm probably going to put it up on every podcast for a while. It's the hashtag physical distancing.
Oh, okay.
Friend of mine's from Canada came up with this thing yesterday on Instagram. I don't know if I sent it to you. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay.
But she talks about the term social distancing means we don't do this, what we're doing now. That's social distancing. It's not just being physical, it's complete. I don't talk to you, you don't talk to me, we don't do nothing.
Yeah.
And I find that really, really, one, wrong, because we're humans, we're social beings, we have to have interaction. And two,
Exactly.
way extreme. 6 feet, physical distancing, it's plenty. But we can still wave at each other, we can still smile at each other, we can still say, hey, I wish you health and I wish you wealth and prosperity. There's nothing wrong with that. So for me, I'm going to throw that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that makes sense?
It makes sense what you said, like physical distancing, yes, but social distancing, like, I mean, there are a lot of people who, like you and I, we didn't met, we didn't see each other like in person, but we are socializing like through this app. So that's awesome. Like you
And
can see your mental health like this.
Yeah, there. Thank you. It goes back to mental health awareness. If humans don't interact, we go a little crazy.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be something there to talk. And I run a couple of Discord servers that have their own little communities in them. Guys are like, hey, do you guys mind if I jump into voice chat? I'm kind of losing my mind here. I'm like, go. And anybody that can get in there and help them and talk with them, go talk with them. Go hang out. Chat about whatever. I don't care. The color of dirt, the color of ice when it melts, discuss, you know, something like that. It doesn't, the intent here is to keep our minds engaged.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Humankind, whether old, young, or whatever, has to keep that engaged by social interaction. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert is irrelevant. Without it, we spiral.
Yes. Like we need someone to talk to. You. Like you don't have to talk about anything important, just to interact with someone and not lose it. Like for me, I live alone. Okay, I live with a dog, but my friends
The
live in
dog don't
another.
talk back.
Yeah, she just listens. She's a good listener.
She's a great therapist.
Yeah, and she won't tell my secrets.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so my friends don't live here, and now I don't want to like meet with my mom, with my sister, because I just think like we should all stay at our homes. We'll see each other after this. And like we talk on the phone every day. I'm not a person who likes to talk. Like I love to keep things to myself. I'm like that. Like I'm extremely introvert. But now I have like urge to talk to someone like couple times a day because like I need it. I mean, I started talking to myself, but I was like, okay, like I need to talk to someone who can talk back to me.
So I want to make a point here because you just brought something out that's really interesting. The fact that you are an introverted introvert that you usually keep to yourself. And you just said you now crave conversation. You need that. You have to have somebody to talk to once in a while. And I think a lot of people misunderstand. True introverts aren't hermits that go live out in caves and don't want to see humankind.
Yeah,
That's not the case at all. No, they do have, they just don't want to be around people as often as an extrovert because it's a lot for them. It's a lot of energy and it's a lot of things to take on. But they still need somebody to talk to. They still need to be able to interact. So that's interesting. I didn't know that about you. So cool. Well, you know, you got me anytime you need it. And you know, you got Diana and the rest of the fam. So we're always around. You know, you can always reach out to us. We'll talk to you. But that, I think, what was it? You said something else too that caught my attention. What was it that you said? Brain fart. It happens. Anyway, how are you weathering other than that? I mean, you just said you talk to your mom and your sister once, twice a day. You obviously get to take the puppy for a walk. Hannah's adorable, by the way. what is the rest of your day spent? I mean, are you doing any of your classes online? Are you still teaching? What else are you doing?
No, actually, I was thinking of that, but like that's not the quality I want, because okay, I can show you how to do makeup, but that's just like a makeup tutorial. That's not like real makeup class, because if you want to learn something, you have to do it like in person, especially makeup. And that's why I don't do like my makeup courses online. I just do tutorials, and that's it. I do like now I do makeup on me, because like I want to stay in the business, to make people like see me, remember me, not to forget, because I don't know when this will be over. And like that's like my, I don't know how I had to do something that makes me happy and get my mind out of this situation. So
Mm,
makeup is like getaway for me, so I do
sure.
that, or
No,
I
that
clean the house or something like that. I just find something to do. So
yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. One of the and I'm sure that there are arguments for and against actually doing classes online, but the tutorials are awesome. Do me a favor we're doing good. We're doing real good. It's only been about a half hour. That's good. Um, let everybody know how they can find you on Instagram, and any other socials that you happen to be on.
okay, so I mostly use Instagram for work. So you can find me on Instagram. My name is Elena.Cuk, like CUK.
Okay. And then are you on any other platforms that people might be familiar with, like Tumblr or Facebook or anything like that, where you show your work, not where you do your
No,
personal stuff? Okay.
no,
So
I only
everything's over
use,
on Instagram. Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. So guys, go find Elena.Chuk on Instagram. I'm following her, and she's got great photos. Great. Where do you do your tutorials? Like, where do you do, like, where you can show people what you're doing?
Well, I'm actually started uploading like, actually, I was thinking of doing like tutorials for the Instagram, and I'm doing them on the app that we are both on.
Okay, so guys, that app it's new for us. We're kind of playing out a trial right now, so we're not going to mention it here live. However, I would be happy to send you guys that information if you happen to want to see Elena at work and actually doing this, and doing her tutorials, showing how she goes through putting on makeup and creating these creations that she makes. Message me. I'd be happy to send you information, guys. If you're listening to this on Anchor, look at the description. I will have her username and things like that there. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to just shoot me a DM. I'll shoot you the thing. When we're authorized to go ahead and talk about it again later, we'll start promoting it. But right now, we're kind of in a test phase. I will tell you, it is cool to watch. You kind of get mesmerized by the fact that you're watching somebody create. It's like watching, what was that guy's name that was the artist? He used to be on PBS. He had a big, you don't know him, you're too young. God, I can't remember his name. He used to stand there in front of a palette and just create paintings. What is his name? Dan Ross? Dave Ross. Dave Ross. Dave Ross. Yeah. Um, he's another one that was like you with this creative process. He would literally get in there, explain what's on the palettes, pull out some paint, and then he would create on canvas. You do the same thing. I mean, literally, that was his passion. This is your passion. You take a canvas, your face, and you
Yeah.
create, and it comes out amazing every time. Totally thankful that we're
Thank
friends.
you.
Yeah, no, I'm totally, you got my support. Um, so guys, if you want to learn a really cool creative process and watch somebody go at her art, follow Elena on Instagram. Um, this is about, I probably should just, let me ask you this. With regards to dealing with all of this and being in lockdown, I don't have a lot of European listeners.
Okay.
A lot of my listeners are here in the US and Canada where we're not in lockdown yet. Can you just kind of talk about what it is that's going through your mind, your friends' minds, right where you're at right now? What are you guys dealing with? I mean, how are you dealing with this? I mean, we know the physical stuff, but
Yeah.
let's talk about the mental stuff. I mean, how are you? Because I mean, what when you're asked, and you have the choice, which is something that we in America really treasure, is our personal freedoms.
Yeah.
To the point they're going to be calling out the National Guard pretty soon if they don't cut it out. But how you guys are in actual lockdown? I mean, what goes through your mind when all of that goes on?
Well, for sure that people are in panic. Like my generation, younger generations, they're probably not thinking about this as something like big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we are first was, I don't want to go out, it's fine, and now that I know that I can't go out, like it's forbidden, I'm like, oh my god, like my personal freedom is being like, I don't have like freedom now.
Yeah.
So so that's like mind-blowing, and it's really hard to process. And the other generations, like my mom, my dad, aunt, grandparents, they feel like when war was here, they feel like that.
Yeah.
They have like that, like trauma, because police is out, you can't go anywhere, the food is missing, like you can't go out just once a day just to get groceries, so you don't get out like tomorrow or day after that and stuff. So I think that it's affecting everybody's mind right now.
Yeah, I agree. Our own personal, like my business partner and I were in the age group that's easily affected by this stuff. And we learned a few things, it's, again, like I said earlier, age is no longer a factor.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And we also learned something yesterday with regards to here in the States, a doctor that's treating COVID-19s in the hospital. They found a common thread through those that pass away is that they were taking ibuprofen. And after testing it, they found out that somehow this particular virus thrives on ibuprofen coming into the system.
I saw that too here also.
Okay, so good. The news is getting out. I mean, obviously that's going to kill Advil's business, but how does a virus get stronger when a drug that's meant to fight it is introduced and it goes, oh, cool, candy.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're kind of like, okay, that wasn't expected. So I get it. I have some friends here that are in quarantine because they did test positive. And they're like, this stuff really, it does affect you. It's very hard hitting. You do get knocked down. You are not able to get out of bed for a few days. One of my friends just recently got out of bed and she's starting to feel better. She's been in quarantine now 12 days. Two more days and the quarantine for her will be lifted. And her first thing, I'm not leaving the house for another 2 weeks. She's like, this stuff is nasty. I can see how this can hurt somebody. I do not want anybody catching this. I'm staying away from everybody. And I respect her for it.
Yeah.
Is 2 weeks enough? We still don't even know. We're not even there yet.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thank you for your time, my love. It's been quite.
You're welcome.
It's been quite pleasurable. This is definitely going up on a bunch of different podcast platforms, iPodcast, Spotify. If you guys are listening on Anchor.fm, thank you. You guys are my loyal listeners. I love you guys. I am here with Elena Cuk, and we are talking about leadership in a rough time. So again, thanks, Elena, for coming and hanging out for a little bit.
Thank you. I joined it.
I enjoyed it as well. Do take care of yourself. We'll see you in just a little bit. We got our live coming up in I think another hour or two, our party. On that other app, so that should be fun, especially because Brenda's going to be on there. She's hosting tonight, which I'm excited about.
Wait. Yeah, sure.
She's a darling. I tell you, the more you listen to her, you're gonna enjoy. Diana's got a good crew, man. I'll tell you, she's brought some really cool people to the table. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, I actually listened to Brenda like once because she went live really late. But she's really good, and she gives good tips.
Yeah,
because she does like PR and marketing.
Yes. and
Yeah.
she's very she's very savvy with personal branding.
Yeah.
And that's something I would say, if you can tap into her on any of the stuff for what you're doing,
Yeah.
do so, because the more you get your brand out now while everybody's home with nothing to do, the easier it will. Yeah, good. You got it. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm pretty sure Diana's pulling us all together for another purpose besides these parties and things of that reason. She's making connections. So guys, we got Diana May next week, Friday, which is, I can remember what day it is. It will be on the 3rd. So if you guys want to meet the queen of the crew, the talent manager of Catapult Capital, listen up next Friday. We're going to be doing our live with her there. She's on Facebook, so we'll be live on Facebook while I'm recording it on Zoom, and then I'll put it up on podcast after that. Till next time, which, well, for me is in about another 2 hours. Till next time, I wish all of you guys health, wealth, and happiness. Make sure you take care of each other. Be present. Show up with some love. Be awesome. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. Ciao for now.